Hey everyone, this is MJ. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a subscriber, and welcome if you are brand spanking new. In today's video, we are going to go through what I've read for Gothic Week, week 2 of Horror Mayhem. And before we get started, remember to like this video, comment down below. Are you participating in Horror Mayhem? If so, what did you read? I'd be interested to know. And make sure you ring that bell and get notified. So week 2 of Horror Mayhem is Gothic Week, and the Horror Mayhem event was created by the Bookish Bryants. It is 4 weeks. So this past week was Gothic Week, and what we did over at my channel is a whole bunch of other booktubers got together and some subscribers, and we decided to read The Picture of Dorian Gray. So I have a lot to share about this book. Okay, we got a little closer because we're gonna talk about this book. So the first thing when you start reading The Picture of Dorian Gray is that the writing is extremely different because it was written in a time that was different. It was written in 1890. And it is very descriptive. It's a bit of a slow burn for me. Chapters 1 through 3 were kind of, you're getting to know the characters, you're learning all about the flowers and the music that's involved, and you're getting to meet Dorian. Once chapter 4 hits, there's a little bit more action going on. I read the book, and I also had the audiobook for when I'm in my vehicle, driving, at the gym, etc., etc. So it was interesting that I had better visualization with the audiobook than I did reading it. And I'm not sure why. The narrator of my audiobook was Simon Vance, and we all know Simon Vance, and he's fantastic. But I'm going to share something with you. So I got to the end of the book today. I finished it. And I decided to watch the movie. Now, the movie stars Ben Barnes. Do we all know who Ben Barnes is? He is delightful, and he plays Dorian. Now, this movie is British version, and it takes place, I think it was produced in the UK, and it was filmed in 2010, so it's about 12 years ago. Watching that movie, if I did not pick this up first, if people wanted to read this book, I would say, watch the movie, come back to the book. There's differences. The movie is spicy. It's violent. It is absolutely a horror flick. You have the 3 characters of Dorian, Basil, and Harry. You have them all represented. Harry is played by Colin Firth. And having that context really helps solidify everything that I read. Does that make sense? So if you've never read The Picture of Dorian Gray, or if you are struggling with The Picture of Dorian Gray. Why is my camera focusing on my dog? Oh my God. So if you want to read The Picture of Dorian Gray, I suggest, just so you get a sense of what is involved in the book, watch the movie first. Watch the movie first, and then come back to the book and look for all of the missing details in the language. Some of the language is incorporated in the flick, of course, but it's not as all-encompassing as the book. Okay, because I know some people were struggling with it. Some people, it went right over their heads. Watch the movie first, then read the book, because that gives you some type of context as to what the book is about, instead of, oh my God, there's nothing happening, I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, that's my little tip for you. So, Oscar Wilde's writing is really, I mean, I enjoyed it. Got a little mad at some of the stuff that he said, especially regarding women and regarding aging. And some of the things, especially in chapter 4, really hit home for me because, you know, I'm a little bit older. I could apply for my AARP card. And, you know, it really does hit you in the face. So yeah, there's that. So that is really like my tip. Watch the movie first, then come back and read the book, or do the audiobook, whichever. Actually, sometimes, like, I was home today, I took a day off and I was listening to the audiobook and I was following along with my book. Sometimes that's a lot of fun to do too. So there are a lot of great quotes in here. I am going to throw some at you just so you can get a sense for it. Let me see. I didn't mark anything, but I know what chapter it's from. I think there's 20 some chapters in here. This is Harry talking to Dorian. The subject is not so abstruse as I thought it was. I find that ultimately there are only two kinds of women, the plain and the colored. The plain women are very useful. If you want to gain a reputation for respectability, you merely have to take them down to supper. However, the other women are very charming. They commit one mistake, however. They paint in order to try and look young. Our grandmothers painted in order to try and talk brilliantly. Rouge and esprit used to go together. That is all over now. As long as a woman can look 10 years younger than her own daughter, she is perfectly satisfied. As for conversation, there are only 5 women in London worth talking to, and 2 of those can't be admitted into decent society. Really? Page 23. No, you don't feel it now. Someday when you are old and wrinkled and ugly, when thought has seared your forehead with its lines and passion branded your lips with its hideous fires, you will feel it. You will feel it terribly. Now, wherever you go, you charm the world. Will it always be so? You have a wonderfully beautiful face, Mr. Gray. Don't frown. You have. And beauty is a form of genius, is higher indeed than genius, as it needs no explanation. It is of the great facts of the world, like sunlight or springtime or the reflection in dark waters of that silver shell we call the moon. It cannot be questioned. It has divine right of sovereignty. It makes princes of those who have it. You smile? Ah, when you have lost it, you won't smile. People say sometimes that beauty is only superficial. That may be so, but at least it is not so superficial as thought is. To me, beauty is the wonder of wonders. It is only shallow people who do not judge by appearances. The true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible. Yes, Mr. Gray, the gods have been good to you, but what the gods give, they quickly taketh away. You only have a few years in which to live really perfectly and fully. When your youth goes, your beauty will go with it, and then you will suddenly discover that there are no triumphs left for you, or have to content yourself with those mean triumphs that the memory of your past will make bitter than defeats. Every month as it wanes brings you nearer to something more dreadful. Time is jealous of you and wars against your lilies and your roses. You will become sallow and hollow-cheeked and dull-eyed. You will suffer horribly. Ah, realize your youth while you have it. Don't squander the gold of your days, listening to the tedious, trying to improve that hopeless failure, or giving away your life to the ignorant, the common, and the vulgar. Those are sickly aims, the false ideals of our age. Live. Live the wonderful life that is in you. Let nothing be lost upon you. Be always searching for new sensations. Be afraid of nothing. A new hedonism. That is what our century wants. You might be its visible symbol. With your personality, there is nothing you could not do. The world belongs to you for a season. Oscar. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now, some of that was delicious and some of it was infuriating. So, did I enjoy reading this? Yes. I enjoyed listening to it as well. But when I watched the movie, it gave me a little more context, if that makes sense. It brought everything in for me a little bit. And it made the visual attached to the words that I read. I hope that helps. So if you are wanting to read Dorian Gray, watch the Ben Barnes movie first and then come back and read the book. Because when you start the book and you're in those chapters, may not grab you, and this book is a classic for a reason. So if you started this and put it down, watch the movie instead and come back to it and see if it makes a difference. And that quote was actually on the back. Live, let the wonderful life that is in you. Let nothing be lost upon you. Be always searching for new sensations. Be afraid of nothing. It's fantastic. So there's a whole bunch of booktubers that got together with me to read this book. I like to do group reads on my channel, and everyone out there is more than welcome to come to our next one. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I think we're talking about Project Hail Mary in like June or July, and Addie LaRue maybe in July. So just be on the horizon for that, and I'll announce that in the future. But group reads are awesome because you get buddies and you get to chime in and you get to talk about your experiences. And some people really did struggle with language, like it went over their head. Other people have read this in the past and they read it again. So there's that. So sometimes when you have a buddy too to read something that's a little more difficult, it helps a lot. But in our group discussion, the three main characters each has a different type of personality. And I came up with that each of these characters, one represents, they're all Oscar Wilde. I think Michael Romeo Talks Books. He was involved in our group read. He said that Oscar Wilde said that each character is a part of his Oscar Wilde's personality that came out on the page. So, one is a little more hedonistic, one is a little more tame and reserved, and Dorian, of course, is very naughty. So I equated that with our personality, the ego, the id, and the superego. It kind of translates. Let me know if you agree. Comment down below and let me know. Okay, so that is my tip for Dorian Gray. It is a delicious read, but the movie is even more delicious because they amp it up with, some gratuitousness. And of course, there's differences in the movie and the book, not major, but definitely more subtle. The movie is only an hour and a half, I think. The audiobook for this is 8 hours, and it's about 8 hours to read it. It's under 250 pages, but really interesting read. I think I will come back to this in the future just because it made such an impression on me. So yeah, fascinating. Nice job, Oscar. So in addition to the picture of Dorian Gray, I started this book called Oh, Caledonia. Now, this book was gifted to me by my best friend. She loves this book. I think she said it's her favorite book. And it is a Gothic tale. It takes place in Scotland, and it starts with the line, you ready? We begin with a corpse. What more can you want? So the blurbs on the front, the first one is by Maggie O'Farrell. It says, I once decided to become friends with someone on the sole basis that she named Oh, Caledonia her favorite book. Ali Smith, the author, also said the best, least known novel of the 20th century. So I believe the corpse is a 16-year-old, and we go through her life, basically. So there is an introduction, and then we go through the different characters. So it's only 200 pages. I was under the weather today, so I wasn't able to really stick with it. I am going to finish it tomorrow, and then I will do my full review on this probably for next Thursday, I think. Yeah, so probably Thursday I'll do a review on this because this book got me in 10 pages, and that's pretty tough to do, but I'm all invested in it. So I will keep you posted on this. And the last thing that I read for this week was another section of Moondance. Moondance is a werewolf book. This is from the 80s. This is by S.P. Somtow, and I am really enjoying it. So part one basically introduces us to the characters, goes back in time. you know, I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know if you're following from last week. Last week's video, I covered the prologue. There's a writer who wants to interview a serial killer. So serial killer is in mental institution, and he has multiple personality disorder, and he's also a werewolf, supposedly. So part 1 was that. Part 2, we go back in time and we go to Europe and we learn about this 7-year-old who is this serial killer. Not yet though. We also get introduced to a count, and we get introduced to the boy's caretaker, Speranza. And also there is, where there are some wolfy things going on in America, and supposedly the count has sent people. He wants to get territory in America. They want to come to America. They want to inhabit America. And it is really like the early days of like the gold rush. So it's fascinating. Part 1 flew by. I can't wait to get into part 2. This is a buddy read with Criminale, and he is behind me right now. So Criminale, I'm waiting for you to catch up. And then we're gonna go from part 2 into part 3. Yeah, so it's a chunk, but like 175 pages in, it feels good because I usually don't like to get chunky books, but this one's really good. Very excited to get back into it. Okay, and then starting Sunday is week 3 of Horror Mayhem, and that is cosmic horror. What am I reading for cosmic horror? H.P. Lovecraft. That's about it. So I have a H.P. Lovecraft short story book from the library that I'm going to download. There also is an H.P. Lovecraft short story in my little book of hauntings, Tales of the Supernatural. It is, what is it? In the vault. So I may just read that for fun. I am perusing this. I'm trying to read it in order. I don't want to hop around, but some stories fit within the weeks and some don't, but it's just a fun book. So there's that, and that's basic, and Moondance. So hopefully I'll be able to get back into this as well. So that is my reading for the week. Yeah. And very excited to get back into this. Really, really good. And like I said, I will do a review video this week coming up. Okay, so that is it here from me. I hope all of you are doing well and you're staying safe and you're taking care of yourselves so you can take care of others. And until next time, goodbye for now. Oh, and yeah, that's Watson from when he was a general back in the day. Got that idea from Dorian.